Fine, all right, folks, ready to roll, I can more gorilla?
Wetlands.
Well, this is what?
May I?
You may.
Thank you. I'm sure you folks want to get out of here, right? Okay, so I'm gonna call this public hearing to order. The time is 6:41 PM. And I'm gonna read the legal notice here. The Sterling Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 27, 2025. In room 15 at the Sterling Town Hall, 1183 Plainfield Pike, Huntington, Connecticut, beginning at 6:41 PM to hear written and or verbal comments on the following. Application number ZBA 25-02 by Fred and Judith Iafredi for a variance from section 4.02C of the Sterling zoning regulations of shape and location of minimum buildable area for property located at 80 Porter Pond Road, Moosup, Connecticut, and the lot designation is 3646/27/10/1. All right, so the public hearing is in session. Generally speaking, the way these things proceed, given a sizable crowd, thered be an opportunity first for our applicant to present their case, and then if there were any dissenting opinions, we'd hear them next, and then there'd be a general discussion, and the applicant usually gets a chance for a wrap-up. That's the formal way this happens. We have a very small crowd here. So, basically, we did hear from your, engineer, Mr. Tebow, last month. Right, and so we have some familiarity with your application already. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear any testimony, with regard to your application. I'll offer you the opportunity to speak if you have anything that you'd like to present. Given the fact we also have your application and we have documentation from our CEO, you're aware of the letter that he drafted on your behalf. And so, yeah, if there's anything you'd like to say, you've got the floor.
Not me, unless you wanna say so.
I think everything was really explained between the letter and then my application. I think we covered
Okay.
it all. Thank
Perfectly
you
fair.
for giving us
We
the
won't
opportunity.
close the hearing until everybody's comfortable. But that's how, you have the opportunity, and you still have an opportunity if something comes to mind. With regard to the board, have you had a chance to read the letter drafted by I believe it was John, wasn't it? We have two, yeah, it was John. Got a chance to read it all, understand it? Okay. Do we have any questions for the Iafredis? The decision doesn't get made during the hearing. The hearing is for information, gathering of all information. Once we are comfortable and you're comfortable that we've got all the information presented, it's all on the table, everybody understands it. At that point, we close the hearing and we roll into our meeting, and during our meeting, it's when we actually make our decision. That'll go. But that's immediately following.
Okay.
That's
thank you.
tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I do have a question. Whether you folks are quick to answer or not, but the letter from John includes a dimension of approximately 145 feet.
That's what I was.
The word approximately is a little unfortunate. I'd really rather have a real dimension. And then on your application itself, it asks for the accommodation of a rectangle 150 by 140 feet. So I've got, the magic number is 150. You can't hit the 150, which is why you're here. So I've got two numbers now. I've got 140 and I've got approximately 145.
I got another number, because was told it was 3 feet.
So
So I was told it was 147.
I believe I may have heard that. I haven't got it written down anywhere, but
That's what I was told.
I actually agree. I may have heard that number, maybe from Mr. Tebow last month, possibly.
And also, I think from the person who drafted up the plan, also too, said the same thing. He drafted up these.
That, the thing being what? Said the same thing. One
This is what
147.
you call this? This is the map of the layout of the property.
Sure, we have that.
You do have this.
Yeah, it's,
So that's what.
it's quite small. Difficult
This
to
one
read.
shows, we supplied big ones too, large ones,
We
8
didn't get,
copies,
8 copies.
8 copies.
we asked,
Including our original.
we asked for larger copies. And, I figured they'd be waiting for us here tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't get them. We didn't get them.
I know.
That said, I made myself a slightly larger copy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because the document that we were emailed has the PDF format,
Mhm.
and you can actually blow it up quite a bit. The detail is there, it's just that you should choose to print it on an 8.5 by 11.
Yep.
So I printed it on 4 8.5 by 11s. But the thing is, I don't,
Where did the 8 copies go to?
I wish I could tell you, because I'd like to keep her ideally.
They requested our original copy and we gave them our original as well, so we were hoping to get that back.
You seem entitled to your original. While I can't make any promises here, I'd say whoever you gave it to, I would visit that individual and ask for it back. What was it, the DPO or
I
was it?
gave it to John.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, talk to John,
Okay.
talk to John. No promises, that's not my department, but I'm sure you'll work something out. You clearly have a rapport with John.
Thank you.
So yeah, I have this, which is a little
That's
bit,
what I'm talking about, yes.
but this is the copy I made. This is all scotch taped together.
Right, okay.
But, so we can see a rectangle here, but I honestly don't see any specific dimensions on any, and it's not really exactly a rectangle, but never mind. The Planning and Zoning Commission is, I don't know, you notice we get their agendas now? They email them to us. They have an agenda item that they've not yet discussed that includes discussion of this thing that they're now calling a polygon rather than a rectangle. They haven't made any decisions on it yet, so it's not really gonna be useful to
I
know.
haven't made a decision in 2 years.
Yeah,
Thank you. All I need.
probably.
Can I approach?
Oh, please, yes.
So with our understanding for the engineer that actually drew this up,
Mhm.
that this is the problem right here. Am I right to say that, right in here?
Well,
I didn't understand a lot of it, but I thought that's
I believe this dashed line here
right here. This-
represents, I believe that's the 30,000 feet,
So
30,000
it's
square
this
feet.
area here that's close, is the,
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. In other words, this line cannot move that direction because it hits the pond.
because there's only
So,
that certain amount of.
so it would be this dimension here, from here to here, that's below 150. And you can't make it 150 because the pond's in the way.
Correct.
Understood, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
so,
know all the terminology, but I'm probably good at that.
so so given the fact that.
So this is 147, they say?
That's what they originally told us, and then this is
Something like that.
150, right? So the shortage is here.
Right.
We have 140 right there.
Yeah, that's what it says on the paper, I saw that.
I'd be inclined,
And that I copied off the paper, not off here.
140 would be worst case.
Right.
Well, so I'd be inclined to assume 140 as worst case and proceed from there with,
Yeah, you actually said that to us last time.
did I?
You said that there was a 10 feet discrepancy.
Okay,
Okay.
That's what you
That's
said to
probably
us
me.
last time.
thank you,
And then
yeah.
he said, no, 3 feet. You said, no, I think it's 10.
Well, I was told 3 feet, that's why I
Right, in
said
the
it, you know.
application, it's 140.
That's
Right,
what I'm
that's
saying.
why, yeah, so that's why I said it then, but.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if it's really 147, but we were able to make a decision on 140, clearly that's your worst case scenario, when you're actually 7 feet to the good.
I got
That's
you.
one. I'd rather proceed that way, you
Right,
know, without an engineer in the room to give us an actual number.
right.
Yeah,
You know, not, it's an 11 acre lot, it's not 2 acres.
we, I think, see, if we, when we have this, is this formally part of the record? This letter from John Grozkowski?
They were doing their like application folder.
It is, okay, so it's entered formally into the record.
It should.
It should be, yeah, okay, good. So, that's like my only, that's what my only question is to try and nail down the dimension.
I would say worst case 140 is the worst case scenario.
Sure, and, I think, you know, when we get to our discussion phase here, we can talk about how 140 versus 145, give it a word approximately. 140 is approximately 145, more exact, one could argue, right? That's actually part of our decision-making process here. Again, this is mostly information gathering in the public hearing phase.
Do we need certified mail also?
Yes.
The receipt for that?
I guess.
We talked
We
about
talked about it, but yep,
Yep.
I didn't know if we had already, okay.
it all there.
Does that need to go?
I'm not sure where this needs to go, but one was returned to me.
Go to the
So,
ZBA.
It does,
I'll
yes.
give you the right?
Yes, please.
All right, so
Yep.
here's the one that was returned to me, which was,
I don't work here, so I don't,
It's gotta go to the zoning?
yeah, it's gotta go to the zoning department.
Oh, okay, well, you know what, I think what you're asking is for
I think
Mrs.
you
Ivory
were
to bring it herself.
Yes.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Sorry,
Did you have one return?
I have one return.
you don't work here during the day.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it goes home with me, it goes home with me.
It goes home.
Okay. Never.
I don't think along those lines, it seems like you're representative of our staff here, you know?
Okay.
Thank you for
Mhm.
pointing that out. Well, yeah, all good.
So 859, Port Pond refused to return as undeliverable. They refused the mail. That was the only one that came back. She had one that they sent back. They didn't open it or anything.
They refused it.
I
Yeah,
refused it was
Yeah.
bizarre to me.
just make a note of
I
it,
didn't
that,
even know
that
what was
one.
in it. You know, that was in it, and then-
Personally. Did you? I mean,
No,
what?
no, I never had to deal with that.
Okay,
Didn't have to, didn't cost them anything, all they had to do was accept it.
noted. One of the,
That was
one of the
859, right?
butters
It was
refused to receive.
859 Plainfield Pike,
Plain
yeah.
for Pike, okay.
Robert and Dorothy Klein.
Noted, thank you. Interesting.
I thought it was interesting too.
Don't know what to do with that, so I'm just gonna smile and nod.
It was mailed.
Carry
Right,
on.
that's, the requirement was mailed.
Yeah, it was mailed. That's right, there's no requirement that they receive it.
No.
Exactly right. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions for our applicants?
I don't think so.
Does everyone feel like they understand the nature of the application pretty well? Okay. Be that as it may, maybe we could entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make a motion to close it.
Rusty, so moved. We got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is hereby closed, and we roll directly into our meeting, of which you are essentially one of the only agenda items, with the exception of things like the pledge of allegiance and a roll call and things along those lines. So I'm now calling to order the special meeting of the Sterling Zoning Board of Appeals, Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Wait a minute, is this? Yeah, special meeting. Time immediately following the 6:30 PM. It's now 6:55 PM. I can stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, seating of alternates. Let's see what the story is with our alternates here. We got me, Rusty, Bob, regulars. We've got Derek, regular, and then we have Rob as an alternate. who we can seat for Christine, I suppose. How's that sound? Okay. So we've seated our alternates. Audience of citizens. This would be anybody who may want to bring something forth that's unrelated to our public hearing because we just had our public hearing. Peter, do you have anything as, audience of citizens? Do you?
Creek Road, Porter Pond Road.
Yep.
In reference to this gentleman's, zoning ordinance, I don't see a problem with it, based on what he has. I've been on his property. It's a man-made pond. Not like it's in the wetlands, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
That's quite a ways away, so I
okay,
approve what he's trying to do.
thank you. Okay, so we have approval of minutes from our previous meeting. These are minutes dated, April 22nd, 2025. Has anybody, had a chance to take a look at it? Find anything they need to see amended? It'll note in the minutes that we have both the 147 as well as the 140.
Yeah.
They are contained, so we did talk about that at last month's meeting, yeah. When everybody's ready, we'll hear a motion. Accept the minutes. Everybody ready, yeah?
Make a motion, to accept the minutes as read.
So moved. Seconded, all in favor?
All right.
Minutes carry, any opposed? Okay, that takes care of that part. This brings us to item number 6, which is application number ZBA 25-02 by Judith and Fred Iafredi, 80 Porter Pond Road, New Connecticut, 3646-27-10-1. The variance for section 4.02C, shape and location of the minimum buildable area. This is the place where we discuss and make our decision, where we are going to approve your application for variance. Okay, folks, how do you see it?
I think it's kind of cut and dry. I don't see an issue. On, they ain't moving out.
There's enough square footage and for well and septic and.
According to the ZEO, there's ample square footage.
Yeah,
It's gonna-
Reference is a order of magnitude greater than 30,000 square feet.
Right.
Okay, it's not gonna interfere with anybody else's.
No impact.
Good question, though. That's the kind of stuff we're looking at, is whether there are any impacts. Again, our ZEO is, I gotta find my letter here, but our ZEO points out carefully that there are no impacts.
Right.
Sorry. This one, okay. So some of the pertinent details in the letter, he, again, approximately 145, so we have 141, approximately 145 and 147. He mentions, he gives us some specific language as to the nature of the hardship. It's the odd geometry of the existing property boundaries. He mentions the town's establishment, but that's not a hardship, unfortunately, and the existence of a pond in the middle of the property that created the circumstance. It is not a situation that is found generally in other residential properties in Sterling. And that's really the key. That's what the hardship hinges upon, is that you have a unique situation on your property. And we have documentation from staff that says he sees this as a unique situation. I should probably mention for the record that he writes this as a zoning professional rather than as his function as the town zoning enforcement officer. Kind of the same thing in my eyes. He's considered being an employee of the town. He's considered an ex officio member of this committee, and we look to our CEO for guidance in these situations. some of the things we have to deal with are a little trickier than yours. Yours is about as straightforward as we get, in my opinion. So does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring forward with regard to this?
It's cut and dry.
Can I hear a motion then?
To accept it.
Well, if that's what you want to move, Rusty.
Make a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve,
I'll second.
motion seconded, all in favor,
Right?
any opposed? And
Thank you so much.
that's how the process
Thank
works,
you.
you have your variance.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you for all coming here on your night off.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We both appreciate it.
that's, the life of the volunteer, right?
That's it.
Yep. So, at this point, what we need to do is we need to draft the motion needs a, specific language associated with it. So, what I'd like to do is I'd just like to utilize the dimension of, 140 feet relief from section 4.02C, or 10 feet.
Might wanna ask.
And, I'd just like to cite the language of our CEO, John Guzkowski, Guzkowski, I know what it is. The odd geometry of the existing property boundaries and pond in the middle of the property, creating a situation that's not found generally in other residential properties and stuff.
The minutes.
That's the nature of that. Cool. Perfect. All right then, so with that said, item number 7, adjournment.
Make a motion.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. What's our next step?
What is your next step? The fact that we have approved your application will be communicated to the CEO.